So the first step to making a good compost pile that's full of biology is you want to start off with the right moisture content. So here I have my woody materials. My woody materials are not dried out. They're not 0% moisture, but they're pretty dry. They're definitely not around 50% moisture, which is kind of what we're shooting for. So I have 24 5-gallon buckets of woody material. Half of it I've got from wood chips that I sifted from a 5 to 6 year old wood pile. The other half is wood chips I sifted from a 1-year-old wood pile. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill these 5-gallon buckets up with water, let them soak for several hours, and how long I let them soak will depend on how quickly they soak up the moisture. So every so often I'm going to come along, I'm going to grab some of the wood chips out, I'm going to feel them, I'm going to feel how heavy they are. The more moisture they soak up, the heavier they get. Can't really squeeze wood chips because the wood is solid, so you really need to kind of base it off of weight. But what I want them to do is I want them to soak up a lot of moisture so that when I put them into the compost pile and that compost pile is sitting there for several days and it's getting hot, that it doesn't dry out so much that the pile goes dormant and stops producing heat too soon. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to fill these buckets up with water. Now I live in the city. We have city water here, which they add a lot of chlorine to. You may be on well water. In that case, you may want to have your water tested to find out how acidic it is. But what I did in order to, there's several things you can do if you have chlorine in your water. If you have chlorine in your water, chlorine will evaporate, so you can put the water that you're planning on using, you can put it in open containers, buckets, 55-gallon drums, whatever you choose. Leave it open, exposed to the air. Don't seal it up with a lid. And then after about 24 hours, that chlorine will evaporate out of that water. Now, if your city puts chloramine into your water, chloramine is not going to evaporate out of your water, so that's not going to work. What I've decided to do is use an RV filter because RV filters are designed to hook up to your standard garden hose. So I have a garden hose that I've run from the spigot, and on the end of my garden hose is my RV filter, and then right on the end of that RV filter, which is a charcoal filter, filters out the chlorine. On the end of that, I just put a spray wand, spray nozzle. And so I'm using that to just filter the chlorine out as I put it into the wood chips. Now, as you can imagine, it's not going to be as purified as any type of drip filter because it's forced water through a filter. But if it's clean enough for you to drink out of your RV and it doesn't taste like a strong chlorine taste, it should be fine for your wood chips. So let's fill these buckets up and then we'll let them sit.